welcome to episode 105 of Timm Talk, the podcast about the DC anime universe co-created by Bruce Timm. I'm Chris Lord.
I'm Cameron Dexter.
Happy holidays, Cameron.
Happy holidays, Chris.
You and I are both in the midst of holiday parties.
Yes, we are very tired.
Our voices, I'm
We have
sure,
lots of friends.
lots of friends, too many parties. I'm sure both of our voices are worse for wear.
Yes.
As a result, I know mine is.
You know, I always forget how much I talk until it comes to like the holiday season.
Yeah.
Because usually I think most people know that I work from home. So there are days when it gets to like 9 p.m. like, oh, I haven't opened my mouth today. And
my God.
And then Christmas parties come along and it's like, oh, I have to talk the whole time?
Yeah. You
Oh,
talk
God, no,
nonstop. Well, and the only
I haven't worked up to this.
the best remedy to having to talk a whole time is, of course, just have a drink in your hand and like constantly sip from it. But that means you're just drinking the entire time.
Yes.
And it's all just rough.
You know, it's socially acceptable during the holidays.
Totally. Oh God. But yeah, we are once again recording on Sunday night, and we have both been Christmas partying hard. Mm-hmm. I think I'm still hungover.
You know, that's fine. Because what's a better cure than some
casual podcasting?
Some casual
here
podcasting
on the
and
couch.
some Batman Beyond.
Yeah, it was a rough week this week for our content. I was not super thrilled with either Batman Beyond or Titans.
Yeah.
What
about the news? How do you feel about that?
There wasn't a lot of news this week either. I kind of scrambled to find stuff. Like, I know the Arrowverse Elseworlds crossover happened.
Oh, that's right.
Over the weekend. I haven't watched it yet.
I completely forgot about that.
And I want to watch it because I think they also tease Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is a huge deal.
That's a huge deal.
But I don't want to watch the teaser for it yet, assuming that it might reveal things that might happen over the course of the crossover.
Yeah.
But I really want to watch it. I mean, mostly for Batwoman. Mm-hmm. But also I've heard that Tyler Hoechlin's Superman is just great in general in that universe, and I haven't watched anything with him yet. So like, okay, this feels like a good semi-succinct way to do that.
Yeah.
So not? I need to watch that because I want to know what's happening there. So that happened. I guess if you saw it, anyone who's listening and liked it, let us know if it's really worth watching or not, because we're both kind of pressed for time.
Mm-hmm. Is it's just the 4 shows, right? Not Black Lightning?
It's just, so Black Lightning is actually set in a different continuity.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It's its own thing, but even this time around, it's only...
Because no one talks about that one.
No. Although it's supposed to be still really good.
Good. The first few episodes I watched were great.
Yeah. But no, this crossover, it was just actually Arrow, Flash, and Supergirl. There was
so
no legends this time. Yeah, I think they had enough stuff, just those 3.
Okay.
But yeah, I do need to go check that out. And then,
do you think it's in his contract that Brandon Roth's not allowed to be on screen with another Superman?
Do you
think he's bitter? I'd be bitter if I was him.
I would be too, because he really got fucked over, and I'm glad he's found like a new space for himself. I've also listened to interviews with him, and he's just like, he seems like this, like the loveliest, nicest, most upbeat person possible, and seems to have a good perspective and all that sort of shit.
Well, he's had a pretty good career since then. I mean, obviously not like Superman level, but he was a pretty main character in Chuck.
Oh, that's right. He was.
Yeah.
I've never seen Chuck.
He was not Lucas Lee. He was fucking the third Evil X from Scott Pilgrim.
This is true.
It's Matthew Patel.
There was like Dylan Day, Dog of Night, or whatever, which I never saw, but apparently it was terrible.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's some random, like, I think it is based off a comic no one has ever seen. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't go well for him.
No, hold on. Who's the fucking third villain? Todd Ingram. That was his name.
Okay.
That's driving me crazy.
I'm glad you figured it out.
Yes, it's Matthew Patel, Lucas Lee, Todd Ingram, Roxy Richter, the Katsunagi twins, Ken and Kyle, and then Gideon Graves.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done, sir.
Thank you.
But no, I mean, he's done fine for himself. I still think Superman Returns is the best Superman movie made.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I don't have a lot to compare it to since I haven't seen any other one.
That is a highly controversial opinion. I'm sure a few people just yelled at their phones when I said that. But I'm going to stand behind that, actually. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, there wasn't that much other news. Like, so there's a show, Stargirl is going to be coming out on the DC Universe. So I think that is also not connected to the Arrowverse. But Joel McHale was cast as Starman.
Awesome.
I don't like know enough about these characters to really have a lot to say about that, but I always love Joel McHale. And then
these are different from Stars and Stripes, right?
with Stars and Stripes.
I don't remember.
Well, because Stargirl is in the in Justice League Unlimited.
Yes,
she looks like Captain America, and she has like the staff, the Starman staff.
And then Starman, okay, sorry, I'm getting because she teamed up with Steel in an episode.
Oh,
right?
Okay, I forget.
I think so.
It's been a long time.
I thought they were a team. And I think there's another comic team called Stars and Stripes.
I think so. Is that also DC?
I don't know.
Oh my God, things we should know. But so she's part of the Justice Society of America, the JSA.
Yes.
So I think this show will focus on her, but involve other JSA members. And we know this because the son of Lou Ferrigno Jr., was cast as Hourman.
Okay.
I've always really liked Hourman. Actually, the only reason I really know about him is from New Frontier. There's like that opening sequence that pulls an homage from Vertigo. The cops are chasing him across the rooftops, and he seemingly falls to his death. But that version of Hourman, the Rex Tyler version, which I'm assuming that's what they're going to use here, he's super interesting because he gets his powers from taking a drug. It's like he's like a pharmaceutical magnate, and he creates this drug that gives him these powers. So just the idea of him in general is really interesting, of this guy who only has powers when he's on drugs. And so it becomes this whole like...
It's almost like Limitless.
Oh, right, yeah. I guess it's okay. It's basically just Limitless. It's basically Limitless. But I don't know. It's an interesting structure around which to base a character, and I feel like it's a concept that would work well in the modern world. I've actually always wanted to see a movie set in like the 1950s with Hourman and then also Martian Manhunter as John Jones detective. Just basically like those two characters as they are in New Frontier.
Yeah.
But I just want to see that movie done, though.
That'd be cool.
I think that'd be really cool, actually. And like, again, the DCU is so fucking complicated at this point. Like, oh, Wonder Woman was around this whole time and she was just hiding out. Like, you could absolutely have Martian Manhunter have been on Earth since, like the 50s or something like that, and just kind of hiding out. Kind of like he does at the end of Justice League, too. Like, he decides, like, step away from humanity. I don't know. Interesting idea. We'll see if I actually watch Stargirl or not.
So what I was getting it mixed up with is kind of separate. So Stars and Stripe is a series following the sidekicks of Starman.
Oh, okay.
So Stripe is a fictional character named Pat Dugan, who first went by the name Stripesy.
Oh, Jesus.
He's notable being the only adult sidekick to a teenage superhero, Sylvester Pemberton.
You're doing great, buddy. You're doing great.
Can tell it's on the fly. Stripey was a gifted mechanic who built the duo's car, the Star Rocket Racer. Together, they were members of the 7th Soldier Victory and the All-American Squadron. Stripey was created by Jerry Siegel and Hal Sherman. Oh, he's old. Wow. 1941.
Yeah, created by Jerry Siegel. Yeah, you'd have to be.
Yeah. Okay, so you would recognize them. They look like this. So that they are in JLU as well.
They are, yeah. The guy in the robot suit with the big red stripe across his belly. That's Stripe.
Yes.
How original.
Yeah.
Also, that's an acronym, isn't it? STRIPE. What does it stand for?
That is a great question for another day.
So I don't know. I mean, I think that there are members of the JSA that I always thought were kind of cool.
Special Tactics Robotic Integrated Power Enhancer.
Fantastic. Love it. But no, I like a lot of the characters in the JSA. I mean, it's like Stargirl's in there, Hourman, Dr. Midnight, I want to say. I feel like Hawkman and Hawkgirl sometimes in there as well.
Which one was original Green Lantern?
Alan Scott, Green Lantern, who's not part of the Green Lantern Corps. It's its own separate thing. Jay Garrick, Flash, is in there as well.
And sometimes Dr. Fate.
Yes, I love Dr. Fate.
Yes, he always has some of the best episodes in animation.
I don't know. I mean, it's like, I'm going to be honest.
In that one episode in Smallville.
Oh, yeah. That's a weird episode of Smallville. A lot of those weird episodes. Look good, though. Costume looked good. There was a whole JSA episode of that show, yeah. Like, Titans is not giving me a lot of hope.
No. But you get my problem now. Like, they're so bad at ending episodes.
Yeah.
We're just so angry.
I know.
The days after watching it.
We'll get to that travesty in a short while here. But, like, I think there's, I don't know. I guess I should give them credit to be like, this show wasn't originally intended for Titans. It was meant for TNT. They brought it over. We're going to do our own thing. And they've, like, slapped, like, edginess onto it, and it's all just kind of a wreck.
Bottle it up, Chris. Bottle it up. We gotta save it for a little bit.
But I'm pretty sure Stargirl, one of the differences is being shepherded by Greg Berlanti rather than by Jeff Johns and Akiva Goldsman. I still do not know to this day why people keep giving Akiva Goldsman work.
Who was that?
He was the writer of Batman and Robin, most egregiously.
What's the problem?
Oh, God, right, of course. He's just like, he is not someone who's known for doing a lot of good. He's also Oscar nominated for... I can't remember what it is now. Maybe even won an Oscar. But he also made a movie a couple years ago called The Water. I think it's The Water Diviner with Russell Crowe, which like no one saw and it's supposed to be terrible.
Okay.
A lot of people were concerned when he was involved with Star Trek Discovery, but apparently that's actually mostly been pretty good. Although I stopped watching it because I was tired of paying an extra $10 a month for one show that was only mediocre.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, but it's just like, I think Jeff Johns is really good with comics, but I don't know if he really has his
I wanted to bring that up. Yeah, Jeff Johns, like, I love the man.
Yeah.
He wrote the comic series that got me back into comics.
Right, yeah.
Blackest Night. And everything he did to bring kind of Flash back to the forefront of conversation, because he was the man behind Flashpoint. And
yeah, I mean, he's a great comics writer. I mean,
yeah, and
he's done a whole bunch for the industry.
And you know, his breakthrough with television movies was the Green Lantern movie, and it hasn't really been great since then.
No, they are different skill sets.
Mm-hmm.
Just ask J.K. Rowling that. Mm-hmm. Shots fired.
I am wearing a Hogwarts shirt right now.
Yeah, I love Harry Potter. I can love Harry Potter and despise Fantastic
Beasts. No, you're
Beasts.
not allowed to critique what you love, Chris. That's the whole point of loving it.
Yeah, of course. How dare I?
Your goal as a fan is you can only hate other people that critique it.
Let me just put my blinders
yourself
back
are not
on.
allowed to critique.
Yeah, get back into it.
Let me explain how fandoms work. You are right. Everyone else is wrong.
We'll do a bonus episode on just on how fandom works.
It'll
be you talking for an hour and me not listening.
Let me talk about waifus one more time.
Oh, let's not.
I brought that up casually in a conversation at a Christmas party.
And how did that go?
Great.
Did it?
No. They were very lost and very confused.
I'm sure at least a little bit disturbed.
Yeah. Well,
did people just slowly drift away from the conversation one by one?
Mentally,
did they all leave like in a mass exodus?
No, not a mass exodus, but you could see kind of the light fading from their eyes. Yeah, it started with Bowsette. Do you know who that is?
Yes, I'm aware of. You've explained Bowsette to me.
Did it really? Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, somehow the conversation of Bowsette came up, and they're like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, you know, the internet does dumb things." And like what?
Oh, no.
And I'm like, "Oh, let's open up this box for a minute."
Oh God. The dark side of fandom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't even. What are we talking about?
I don't know. What's going on in the world?
Okay, one other thing, and I guess this would be a better conversation to have as a part of a larger conversation about Spider-Verse, which you and I literally just got out of.
Yes.
You for the second time. It's amazing, guys. It's really amazing.
Unbelievable.
It's
a visual phenomenon.
Yeah, we're gonna try and get that crossover together, but no matter what, we're gonna find a way to talk about this movie because it's fucking amazing.
Yes.
But I think we have talked about before my concerns with Sony's success. Have we talked about this really?
I don't think so. I don't think on air at least.
Okay, so my concern is that with Venom doing as well as it did, which it shockingly has done like over 700 million worldwide, I think it's
almost all international though, right?
I think so. Yeah, it surpassed Wonder Woman at the global box office, which is tragic. With that sort of success, and so I mean that was commercial success, but certainly not critical success.
Right.
But I think with Spider-Verse, Sony is going to get both, deservedly so.
Yes.
My worry has been that success is going to go to their head and they're going to think they don't need Marvel. They do need Marvel.
They do.
They absolutely do. I think Venom is a garbage film that absolutely needs the hand of some like Kevin Feige there to like make it good.
Especially if they want to like really use the Spider-Verse to its full potential. They need someone who can look down the line, be like, hey, let's set up something bigger than what we have. Yeah,
because everything Marvel has done well, they like half-ass tried to do it in like both the Amazing Spider-Man run and then now with Venom. It's terrible. But Amy Pascal, who was at Sony for a long time and is just now a producer on all the Spider-Man films, I think she retains the rights to them. She has said that Spider-Man will stay in the MCU. I think he was originally maybe contracted for 5 films that he was going to be in for Marvel. So we're now at 2.
Yeah.
And I think 3 and 4, one presumes, are both coming out pretty shortly here next year.
Yes. We never got the trailer, did we?
No, we never got the.
We're supposed to get Far From Home last week.
No, they showed it down at Brazil Comic-Con, and they showed us the tease of his weird stealth suit.
Well, I thought we were supposed to get a trailer.
I heard that too, but we haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah.
So sometime soon.
Internet.
I mean, I guess it makes sense they would space it out. Like, why would they?
I know, back to back with Infinity
like why
War.
would they undercut themselves that way? They're gonna get soon, but my worry is that they're gonna avoid trying to use Marvel, and so like this is at least nice to hear that there is the intent to keep him in the MCU.
Well, I mean, now they can just bring up the conversation of other universes.
Yeah.
So they can pretty much at this point have their own Spider-Man and just call it, this is Peter B. Parker now.
Yeah.
He's different.
It's just what's interesting is with Spider-Verse.
He does some finger guns and dances down the street.
Hey. With Spider-Verse, like they open up the idea of all these different dimensions of Spider-Man's, but it's also done in animation. And I don't really see that working well if you start bringing in live action stuff.
Well, yes, I agree.
So,
but they do say at the end of Venom, it does say "meanwhile in another dimension," which means technically Venom is part of the multiverse.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know. No one wants that. No one wants that at all.
That's the thing. No one wants it. Like, I mean, the less said and done with Venom, the better, because it was just so bad, and I'm not really interested in fucking Woody Harrelson and his weird ass wig.
And I was having a conversation with a guy last night about Carnage, and he was upset because his actor he'd been wanting for a long time was Dr. Cox from Scrubs.
Oh, John C. McGinley?
Yes. Because he has that look.
He does, yeah. And he's got that
long face.
That edge and that abrasiveness. Yeah, he could be good. I guess Woody Harrelson's just a bigger draw.
Yeah.
And his weird-ass funky wig. But I don't know. So, I mean, it's good that Spider-Man's supposed to stay in the MCU. I think what's going to happen now is that Sony's going to start, like, getting some balls and pushing back a little bit and trying to force connection points between their Spider-Man stuff and the MCU, so we'll see what happens with that. But that's not a fight they're going to win.
No, you can't win anything against Disney anymore.
No, like, and that's the thing is that, Marvel proved they could be successful without their big hitters from the beginning. They're about ready to get more of them back. So all they have to do is just like, no, we've like set it up so that we've had a closing out arc with Peter Parker. We're done with Spider-Man. We've got the X-Men now. We've got a shitload of other heroes. No one's done a Silver Surfer movie yet.
Yep.
We're good. Thanks, bud.
Yeah. You guys.
Bye-bye now.
You still have Namor if you want to play with that a little bit.
Play with Namor. Go have fun with Namor.
So you got She-Hulk. I think Universal.
Universal has all Hulk-related properties. So you can't do a solo Hulk movie
or
unless
She-Hulk
it goes
movie.
to Universal. Yeah,
anyone
in the family, yeah. I think She-Hulk would make for a great TV show, actually.
Oh, for sure.
So, but I don't know if that could happen on Disney Plus or not. Only time will tell.
I still want her to be part of Daredevil.
Well, sorry, that's not happening now.
All right, that's true. So. I want a whole lawyer episode.
That's dead in the water. That would be amazing. Oh my god, it'd be so good. I think She-Hulk has even represented Matt Murdock in the comics before,
I believe so.
in like a court case. Yeah. Should be so good. If only. These are the things we can dream for and have never come true.
But that's what dreams are for.
Yes, that is. You know what else dreams are for? Not thinking about how bad Batman Beyond was this week.
It was an interesting episode. I had some interesting thoughts about this.
Okay.
Because you continue to bring up, and I know we're going to get it at some point, but you continue to bring up that we're going to get an episode focusing on Terry's past as a delinquent.
Yeah, I thought
this episode sets up to feel like this was going to be the episode. So I got excited.
I feel like there's an episode we get a little more into it.
There has to be.
I feel like there's an episode where he has to like confront someone who's involved in like an incident or something like that. I can't quite remember. It's been a while. But it's like I think my problem with this episode,
it's called The Last Resort.
The Last Resort, yeah. Which the whole idea is basically that
it's the last of the casino resorts that are popping up around Gotham.
Yes.
And Bruce is mortified that all of his retirement places are closing down. He doesn't know what to do with his
all
time.
of his retirement home. Yeah, there's a mass exodus of all of the retirees. They're leaving their comfort of their homes and going and losing their teeth. Quite literally.
Terry finds this embezzlement problem going on with the resorts. And he's trying to not really go behind Bruce's back, but it's almost a surprise for Bruce.
Yeah, like a gift. Like, hey, look what I did. I brought all of your retirees back home.
Exactly. The Last Resort. Great episode.
Wasn't like a video game or something called The Last Resort? Was it that zombie game? Not Left 4 Dead, which were great games.
The Last of Us?
No. But do you remember there's a trailer a few years ago that was like, it was a video game trailer and it was basically done in reverse. And so it's like a guy is getting attacked by a little girl who looks like a zombie. And like they're falling out of a window or something like that. And then it's slowly rewinding. And we're seeing that the little girl was on a vacation with her family at this resort. And they're like a virus breaks out and they'll turn into zombies. It's a really clever trailer. I don't remember anything about the game though. I thought that was called The Last Resort.
There is a TV show.
Which one was
called
that?
Last Resort.
Was that a spin-off of Fantasy Island?
Potentially.
With just Hervé Villechaize?
There was a different game called Last Resort that came out in 1992.
Well, that's clearly the one I'm thinking of.
Yes, it looks exactly what you just explained. No, I wish I knew enough about video games to talk about that.
Maybe it was like Zombie Island or something like that. I know that's Scooby-Doo. But no, so the whole concept here is basically that a clinic has opened up by this guy, Dr. David Wheeler. And so troubled kids or troublesome kids are sent to this place for correction. Mm-hmm. And I get what they're trying to do. They're kind of trying to tell a story about what to do with like problematic kids.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting episode they just didn't handle well. I think it's a thought that could be really interesting because every generation above tries to explain why the generation below is different.
Yeah.
And they usually clearly focus on the negatives of different.
Yes, like the fact that we are killing like every industry in the world.
Yes.
We're killing Applebee's.
Yeah.
How dare we?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the last big one was the fight for video games. In the early 90s, there was a huge court case trying to censor video games because of Mortal Kombat. And there was another game that's slipping my mind right now, but Mortal Kombat is kind of the most popular of those.
Video games cause violence, sort of bullshit.
Yeah,
but,
and it's because you had obviously the comic code argument of the 60s of like, comics are the reason kids are crazy.
Yeah, comics are turning kids queer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it could have been a really interesting topic where they kind of find a new thing of the future. And being like, kids are crazy because of. I mean, Fortnite is another big one. That there was a story literally this week about a guy opening a camp to teach kids how to like enjoy life outside of their technology, mainly focusing on Fortnite and Fortnite addiction and. Like as someone who has dealt with video game addiction his whole life, I get where they think they're coming from. Yeah, but it's not. It's different.
Because that's the thing is like they did an episode about video game addiction with the VR thing. They've kind of tackled that topic of the need to.
But that was from a different angle. That was how kids handle addiction. Yeah. This would be how parents see addiction.
That's a good point. And I think this would have been a more interesting story if it actually focused on personal relationships. I mean, so, kind of the crux of a lot of it is that Terry's friend Chelsea, who is like mostly a pretty good kid, but she just has like a lot of problems with her dad.
She's got some daddy issues.
She got some dad issues. Like she like sends off like a just slightly obnoxious email to the principal, who then seems to know her dad's number by heart because he dials it into his phone and calls him. Yeah. And so Chelsea goes to this place, and then Terry goes and realizes that it's like a full-on prison, like they're brainwashing kids. Like there's definitely elements of like 1984 in there, like the massive screen, the doctor yelling at the kids. But what doesn't work here is that it's so obviously a fucking prison. Yeah. Like, they're literally in orange jumpsuits. There's, like...
no, the girls are in dresses. because I didn't understand that.
Wait, no, I thought she was in pants. Oh no, she's in a skirt.
She's in it's just a dress.
Is
all
it?
the girls are just in dress because you only see her first and then just all the guys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did they just not give her pants? And then it's not till like the end of that scene you see other girls in there. I'm like, oh, okay, that's just the women's uniform.
That's just how they
is still a dress.
Fashion's still very sexist in 2039. But I mean, it's so obviously like a prison. Like the styling even looks like Arkham. Like very like big open. I don't know what prisons have these like massive like 3-story open atriums where everyone just hangs out. But like that's in there. They're all in jumpsuits or dresses. They're hanging on the couch. Jump dresses.
Thank you.
And it's just like no person would go there to drop off their kid and go, oh, this seems like a really happy, positive place. Like it's obviously a fucking prison.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that makes the whole thing feel so preposterous that it undercuts what meaning they were trying to put in there a little bit.
Yes. They definitely blew it a little out of proportion. But I think it's also... I'm going to get a little topical for a minute.
Woo!
Yeah, you know me, bringing the fire. 20 years ago when this episode came out, you still kind of had that... We've had a shift in teacher-parent trust, I feel like. And I feel like I don't know how it relates like, further back.
Like you think that people now are... less trusting of teachers? Like parents are less trusting of teachers? Or people are less likely to just be like, oh, your teacher said it, so it must be true?
Yes, they're less like that. But there was a great comic from a few years ago that was like, 1990, kid has bad grades, parent goes into teacher's office being like, why is my kid doing so bad?
Yeah.
And it's like 2015, kid gets bad grade, parent goes into teacher's office like, why are you doing this to my kid?
Oh, okay.
It's like
the teacher's fault.
Yes, yeah. It's kind of we're in kind of this phase where a lot, from what I understand, people blame teachers more. So the point I'm trying to make,
take responsibility for their own actions.
That's true. Not for my perfect baby.
No.
That's for sure. He has done nothing wrong. How dare you accuse him of failing this test?
Never.
This test on facts. His opinions are just as important as your facts.
Yeah. We don't need facts. This is a post-fact world.
To go on a quick tangent, in high school, in one of my theology classes, we were graded on meditation.
Sorry, what now?
Yes. Every Friday we had to meditate and then kind of write about what our mind was going through. And I was not doing well in that. And so my mom had to come in and talk to the teacher. I'm sure she loves this story.
Oh my God.
Miss McClellan. And my mom had to ask, like, how are you failing him on meditating?
Fucking meditating?
Yep. It was
really?
Great. Mm-hmm. Every Friday. It was when kind of every kid mastered the hide your headphones like through your shirt.
Oh, okay.
Your hand,
and just kind of
yeah, and I kind of threw.
Yeah. What was going through your head when you were supposed to be meditating?
Usually lunch, because it was right before lunch.
Ooh, that's rough.
Usually I was sleeping most of it. And they made very strict rules to make sure we wouldn't sleep.
Okay.
And so like you couldn't rest your head after a while.
Okay.
So you couldn't put your head on the desk, or you couldn't put your elbows on your desk and your hands on your hand, or your head on your hands. In the typical prayer position. Yes. You weren't allowed to do that. You had to sit up in your chair.
The most relaxed way one could possibly sit.
Exactly. Yeah, it was... I honestly don't remember.
That's such a bizarre...
Wasn't it?
Such a bizarre idea. Like, honestly, that actually would have been a more interesting way to approach this story. Like, rather than making it... a prison, if they had made it seem very like happy-go-lucky, hippy-dippy, and then the kids were getting brainwashed to change their behavior, that would have been, I think, maybe more plausible.
Well, they did that in Fairly Odd Parents.
This sounds vaguely familiar.
Let me go back to the point I was trying to make before.
Yes.
What I was trying to say was, back when this episode came out, if a teacher said something was wrong with your kid, you would try and fix it.
Yeah, you just kind of take it at face value.
And so I honestly thought, even though we didn't see the principal, I thought the principal was in it with...
I thought so too.
With him, because it was kind of like if for every kid you send us, I'll give you a cut.
Yeah.
So if you continue to find flaws in your students, then, I think that would have been a really interesting kind of shady dynamic.
Yeah.
Of like, it's not just, it's the whole education's problem, not just parents' problem.
Yeah, I feel like there need to be more going on here. It just all felt very superficial. And what I thought was so weird was that his mom wasn't involved in this at all. Like,
yeah, well, they kind of even point that out of like, is anyone coming for him? Like, no.
Yeah, it's just like, and I get that at this point in the show, I think they're trying to expand the scope of the characters, and I think bring in more female characters. That's why this episode hangs a lot on Chelsea, and we actually have a note from a friend about that later on. We'll get to.
Oh, cool.
But so I mean, I guess it's nice that it's not just another story about Terry, but it seems like a really obvious place to start is with him. And if this were really about his mom not trusting him,
yeah,
I think it would have been much more compelling. Or especially if it was, or even about just bump the microphone here. Even about that kid, I can't remember the guy's name, like the guy who's has the
house party.
No, who hijacks? Oh, that would have been good.
Watts.
But no, not Willie Watts, but no, the guy in this episode who hijacks the van at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember what the kid's name is, but
like Sean.
Yeah, sure. Like the asshole. Like it would have been much more interesting.
Sean's an asshole name.
It is an asshole name.
It is Sean, yeah.
Yeah, it would be much more interesting if it was about Terry trying to save his friend. Because they kind of they put a bit of a pin at the end there where Bruce shows up at the hospital after everything's done. He's like, oh yeah, I didn't hear from you, so I thought I should just casually stroll over here and see what's going on. And because at the end, Sean still tries to kill Dr. Wheeler.
Still crazy. Yeah.
He's still crazy, still tries to kill Dr. Wheeler. And so it's like, it's this sort of weird tragic moment at the end of like, oh, you can't save them all. Like some kids are still just troubled. And I felt like Terry should have been actively trying to save him. Like if the whole episode had been like, oh, this is a guy who used to be a friend of mine. We used to be super close, but he's just gone this dark path. He's like hijacking stuff. I need to go out there. Like I'm a hero. I need to try and save him. I think that would have been a more interesting story, and I think it would have had a bit of a better message too. It's like, you always want to try, like you always should try and help people, but sometimes they have to help themselves. Like you can only do so much.
Yeah, I think a big thing they could have done. Like obviously, I enjoy fight sequences, but I think it would have been so much. Honestly, I think it would have been really visually fun and kind of better for story beats if when Sean confronts Terry just dodges.
Yeah.
And he just has to try and talk him down while Sean's trying to, beat him up.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of tired of Terry always just immediately resorting to violence.
Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of his go-to place, but at this point, he's been Batman long enough that we see its effect on him, that it has kind of calmed him down a little bit. I mean, what Eyewitness is kind of all about that.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be much more interesting to see him, exactly like you said, he's dodging, he's doing what he can to avoid being violent, and then have his mom even make a comment of being like, like, Sean's kind of how you were. Like, you guys have swapped places. Like, when you were troublesome and you were problematic and you were going to juvie, like, Sean was this kind of normal guy, and now it's changed a lot. And, like, it's a way to, like, address kind of empathy and hypocrisy and be like, that was you. Yeah. And you found a way to change.
Character growth.
Yay,
you did it.
They happened. That would have been, I don't know, more impactful, more powerful. I was just groaning through this whole thing.
Yeah.
Plus, there's just a lot of really dumb moments in here, too. I'm mostly looking at that weird-ass hover chair that Vincent, the security guard, flies around in.
I did write. I said, wow, that's pretty heavy artillery for a kid's correction facility.
Right?
They had, like, every guard had fucking... they had so many guards.
So many
and
guards.
all of them had laser guns.
Yes. Again, no one stops and think about that. Like, this is weird. Why am I sending my kid to a place where there's a bunch of armed guards walking around? Note, having guns at a school is a bad thing.
Hey, not in 2000.
There. But yeah, it just, the whole thing was weird. They had the weird hover chair, and the thing's got a lot of firepower on it. And also,
okay, so sorry, continue.
Why does Terry not just go invisible all the time when he's trying to break into a place?
I know. Because
he does. He does go invisible at one point. Like, why didn't you do that from the start?
Yeah. Do you think it burns the battery faster?
I guess it might.
I assume he's got to charge that suit every night.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. Like, it's the battery cells can only take so much invisibility.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would... Can they just put that line in there somewhere so we have a reason why he's not always just invisible?
I want to see, like, the low battery mode for the suit.
Yeah.
He's like, shit, I'm at 20%. It's like, all right, I'll do low battery. He flies a little slower.
It's like, fuck, do I keep using invisibility or do I send text messages?
Yeah,
like,
his reception with Bruce gets a little more shaky.
Yeah, I'm expecting a call soon. I don't want him to die. Oh, shit.
Oh, God. Turn it to vibrate. Turn it to do not disturb.
Dim the suit.
Gotta close all these apps in the suit. So I gotta close Batarang. Gotta close invisibility.
Fuck, I left Instagram open and drained so much of my battery.
God damn it.
Yeah, I don't know why he just doesn't do that.
I left up Clash of Clans and my battery went from 20 to 9% in a second.
But yeah, it's like, why doesn't he go invisible? Or they don't, like, I also don't believe their reasoning for not just sending this to Barbara. Because, so as Batman, Terry goes and records audio of Wheeler belittling these kids and make them stay up super late and just capturing the horror of all of it. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, just send the audio to the authorities. And Bruce's like, oh, how do I say I got it from? Like,
a bat?
Like a bat? And like, send it to Barbara.
Yeah, you know someone on the inside.
Like, send it to Barbara and then have her just walk into the front door and use her eyes and common sense to see this place is horrible and children shouldn't be there.
Yes.
Problem solved. Mm-hmm. Done.
So let's go back to our classic segment of how do you fix this?
Okay.
We've thrown out a few ideas, but
yes.
let's scrap it. Let's keep the basic beat of a correction facility for teenagers.
Okay.
You wanted to focus on Terry. Kind of what you've mentioned before.
I think it does need to focus more on Terry. Okay, mm-hmm. I think here's what you do. I think you don't make it a villainous plot. I think you make the facility sincere. Mm-hmm. Right? And I think you hang the whole thing on the communication breakdowns between Terry and his mom. Because one of the big problems that Terry has is there's a lot about his life he can't tell people. And we had a bit of this with like the Slappers episode where he's trying to do the right thing, but he can't tell his mom about it. So I think...
I'm holding him for a friend.
Yeah, exactly. Uh-huh, sure, I've heard that before. I used to smoke dope in high school. Says his mom.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Yeah. I didn't do shit in high school. Super boring. Still am.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the Family Guy episode where Chris has the frog in his backpack.
Oh,
and all the
yeah.
kids are licking toads.
All the kids are licking toads. But yeah, I think Terry's mom feels like they're not communicating. He's up to these weird things. He's out late. He's always tired. She's just like, there's something going on here, and you're not telling me about it. Your grades are slipping. Like and maybe he just like he has a really bad night out on patrol, and he's frustrated, and then he snaps at his mom or he snaps at Matt, and she's like, you're always so moody and difficult. Like, I'm worried that you're slipping back into old habits. I think you need to go to this place and like talk to somebody.
Ooh. Here, and so instead of going with the kind of story beat we've already had before of her not trusting him,
yeah. What
if instead she overhears him talking to Max?
Okay.
And they're talking about his patrol from the night before. Where he's like, yeah, I mean, there was this guy, he had a gun. I had to knock him out, and it was over on this bad part of town. Yeah. And then she tries to confront him about that. Oh. Then that's much harder to explain.
Yeah, okay, that's right. He can't, yeah. It's just like, okay, you're just causing, you're up to trouble again, you got to go to this place. Mm-hmm. And then...
Like, I'm not going to send you to juvie.
Yeah.
If you do one more thing, I'm going to have to send you to juvie, and I don't want to do that. So there's this facility that just opened. Mr. Wayne will understand. Mm-hmm. We're gonna send you here for a few days just so you can calm down.
And I think then once he gets there, it has to hang on. I think the whole thing should be about a failure to communicate, and the problem is not. The problem is that no one's listening to the kids. That they're just yelling at them, and so maybe you keep some of this, like, more extreme stuff in there. I think you like cut way back on the crazy armed guards and that sort of stuff, and maybe like it seems like we were saying, it seems nice-ish. But, the reality is it's just basically them just berating children, trying to tell them, like, you're terrible kids, you're doing it all wrong. And then he's like, and that's kind of where the villainous sort of thing comes in. He has to fight against that. And then, he has to go to his mom. It's like, you shouldn't be yelling at me. You shouldn't be telling me what to do. You should be listening to what I have to say. Mm-hmm. That's what I would change it. What about you?
I like all of those things, and I feel like that works for people our age.
Yeah,
because we're at that.
Suppose that's true.
Yes,
because we're adults-ish.
Yeah, in air quotes.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're making it a kids cartoon, you can't. It's hard to have parents be wrong in a kids cartoon because that doesn't give a great message.
I mean, but the mom was wrong in the Slappers episode.
That's true, but she was fairly sincere about it.
I guess she was trying to be. Yeah, she was right, but she was wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When you have a kids cartoon, especially at this, back in the day, you do kind of have to have this. Parents are still the ultimate authority. Even if Terry is a teenager, he can't kind of back talk and be right.
Okay.
Because back talking is bad.
Yeah, never talk back to your parents. Never question them.
That's right, kids.
Just do what they say, always.
Yeah.
Don't have your own independent thoughts.
So I would love to see that episode.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like marketing it towards kids. I'm trying to think how I would handle this. I think it would have been fun to just follow Chelsea through the whole thing. Where instead of so just get rid of the bully altogether. Get rid of Sean.
Yeah.
Open up with Chelsea getting in a fight with her dad.
Okay.
Some conflict that shows that there's tension between those two.
Yeah.
Where almost like the episode with the Jokers, where it's the kid who's number 2, and his mom is like, oh, well, why aren't you number 1?
How dare you?
Yeah. So you can do something with, the dad is either overprotective or he has too high of standards.
Mm-hmm.
And Chelsea finally just goes off one too many times.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he's like, you know what? I can't handle this.
Yeah.
Clearly, if you don't like my rules, go to this place. They said they can fix you.
Yeah, they'll sort you out.
And then it's just, then you can go through the same beats of like, she's been gone a few days, and you can still do it. It's on it looks like a positive thing out front, where she tells Dana and Terry she's going there, and then they lose connection. They immediately they go to visit her.
Yeah, I like that.
And then she's just gone, and oh, she didn't want to see you, and then that's the okay, this is weird because Chelsea always wants to see us. She's a friend. And then you can kind of go into the detective side again. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you would get Terry inside without the weirdness again. Oh, no. And at that point, because this is what I thought he was going to do. I thought he was going to go and ask his mom to send him there or do something to force himself in, not go as a visitor.
Yeah.
Because that's the very prison-like side of it, is visiting hours. No, fuck that. Terry gets himself in to see what it's like, to see what's going on with Chelsea. And then you see the brainwashing. Then you see... don't make it an isolation chamber. Make it like an actual... No, because then that's too close to Spellbinder.
Like a hypnotism thing or a VR.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're on the right track, though.
Yeah. I don't know how to end it differently. Because then you still need Batman to beat someone up. I
mean, you can still have that. You can still have, the guys be evil and be bad. Mm-hmm. But just, I don't know, just put some more meaning and significance behind what gets people there in the first place.
Yeah.
And I think have a slightly better message, too. Because I think that the message of, talk to your kids is better than, well, you can't save everybody.
It could be the guy who runs this place was, the former... it could be Breakout. Was that the villain?
Lockup?
It could be like him, where it's a former guard at Arkham starts this new facility for teens, and it's basically I'm going to keep you off the streets before you get a chance to turn into the worst.
Yeah.
So I already don't trust you. I already don't believe you. I've done a systematic scan of qualities of Arkham mates and attached it to high schools.
Yeah.
And you were problem students, you were problem students, you were problem students. There's no chance for you to reform.
Into the bin.
And then make it a reformation. Is that a word?
A reclamation? No.
Okay. An episode about reform.
Oh, okay. There we
go. And then you can bring in the beat with Terry. I used to be a delinquent.
Yeah.
Look at me now.
I'm better now.
Now I kill people in a mask instead of beat them up without one.
Such a big improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just, I don't know, for me it was pretty flat. I did not much care for it.
Yeah.
But I have to say, though, it was better than Titans.
It was, oh, sorry, one last note about the episode is Terry brings the bat suit in his backpack.
Oh, I know.
And just hands it off to the villain.
It's like, dude, a little bit more like...
At least, like, I'm sure he can turn the invisibility on without him being in the suit.
Yeah.
But at least do that.
Yeah. Like, I have like a secret compartment inside your backpack or something like that. But
yeah.
It's like literally just carrying around a backpack with the bat suit in it, kind of the dead giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, you can do better than that, man.
Yeah. At least he wasn't wearing it under his clothes.
I mean, that's the go-to, though.
That is the go-to.
Yeah, but he can't really wear the bat suit under those sweet black T-necks.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm calling those shirts.
Yeah.
I like that shirt.
Well, so what do you... If you're Superman and it's a breezy day, like, what if someone is just like, you know, when someone's standing next to you and you have the body shape of him, there's the little holes between your buttons, right?
Yeah.
How does he handle that?
He always stands...
Is it always perfectly form-fitting?
He always stands on people's...
Lefts? Or
right. He always stands on
their
their right, so they can't see into the gapping.
Okay. Smart.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I guess he does wear a blazer sometimes, since that could...
Yeah, most of the time he's wearing a full suit.
Yes.
So,
okay.
and he's very buttoned up, so it's just like it's all the way up to the top, and cuffs are all the way down. He's good to go.
Yeah.
No one can tell.
That's true.
Yeah. No one can just like brush past him and not go, oh, it feels like you have like a really hard plastic S emblem on your chest.
Yeah, it's just like always bulging a little bit out.
Yeah, it's just pressed a little bit out there. It's like, 'cause he wears a pretty tight shirt. It's just like, that's weird. Why do you have like a diamond shaped pattern on your chest all the time?
I usually come from the gym.
Yeah.
It's my workout shirt. I forgot my other undershirt today, and so I didn't want to just go I didn't want to bare chest it with this linen. It's a little aggravating.
I sweat a lot.
Yeah.
I sweat a lot. I'd rather keep absorbing the sweat than go through these nice button-down shirts.
Exactly.
I'm on a journalist pay. I can afford this beautiful apartment in the middle of Metropolis,
but
like
not
a
extra
penthouse,
shirts.
but not more shirts. I spent it all in the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Problem solved.
Okay. Thank you for answering that question for me.
Yes. Or Terry could just keep it in a biometrically locked suitcase that is susceptible to explosions.
Yeah. I don't see any problem with that.
So, okay.
What happened this week in Titans?
Okay.
So much.
Since I was feeling a little more positive about it last week because we had issues with the episode last week, but for the most part we both kind of liked it.
Yes, Hawk and Dove are great people.
Good characters, good actors.
Hank and
Dawn. This week, oh my god! Like, I was excited this week because where we left off in the narrative with Starfire trying to kill Rachel, like, oh, this is a super interesting point, and like, I figure we're gonna get now. Starfire has all of her memories back. She's gonna be a total badass. The Titans are gonna have to like team up to try and stop her. It's gonna be an action-packed episode. So much is gonna happen, and none of that was true.
Nope.
This was the most filler episode I think we've had, or one of them. This whole show has been basically filler, but this one especially because they just
it even looks like the finale looks like filler.
Oh my god, I know, because like they resolve the Starfire trying to kill Rachel thing in like 10 seconds when Donna Troy shows up and does
just
some badass
punches her once,
badass lassoing and punches her once, and then
because again, Donna Troy is still one of the best characters of the show.
I know, and still being grossly underutilized. And it's like we won't even see her at all in the finale, which is a real fucking shame. And so now all of a sudden Starfire is kind of rocky in her memories. She like knows who everyone is around her, but she has like some flashes. So she runs off. And then my single favorite part of this episode, the thing I loved the most, in a very sarcastic way, was as they're driving to follow Starfire, who, mind you, they're like, Dick's like, oh, let's keep a distance so that she doesn't see us. And then as soon as she stops, he's pulling right behind her, get out and talk to her.
Yeah.
Great. So, but it's like, keep your distance. Like, I don't understand. Like, Starfire's not a killer.
Yes.
I mean, she kills people, but she's not a killer.
I wrote that down here. I said, sure, Dick. Okay.
It's like, because he even acknowledged, like, yeah, she's killed people in the past, but like, doesn't make her a killer. Like, yes,
it does.
It literally does.
Yeah.
Like last episode or 2 episodes ago, like the cops are after her because she just killed a bunch of cops, and she's killing more of them.
And even in this episode, the sheriff tries to resolve that, of like, and he should have been a lot more pressing with it. Of like, hey, there was a train explosion a few miles away. You're back from 20 years of not being here. Are you sure you don't know anything about it?
Right?
There was a
maybe?
cop car in here a second ago that drove off somewhere. Is that your cop car? Okay.
There's so much this episode that I'm like, what is this? I don't care. Like, I didn't care when all of a sudden the old friend who's a cop shows up. They didn't add any tension. I was just like, why are we wasting time here doing this?
Yes, he was very unnecessary. It was just, he was there to finally confirm that the mom was bad. Which we'd known the whole time, basically.
But also for me, I felt like actually did kind of come out of nowhere. Because they'd spent so, like...
They'd been doing such they'd been trying so hard to convince us that she was not bad.
Yeah, like they
switched on a dime.
Yeah, they had spent enough time and they had done no setup for her being evil until this episode. And even then, the setup was really bizarre. It's like, I guess that house has some weird thing going on with it, but also it affected her. Like, the light turns on and then she answers the phone, there's no one there. It's like, well, if she's causing this or if she's aware of it, then why is she being affected by it?
Well, I just assumed that was like the base of the portal to Trigun.
But then
is he was the one, like, he could sense Raven was so close, and that was kind of him letting her know, like, now is the time. It's kind of how I interpreted it.
I guess that kind of makes sense. But it's like, even there's this whole weird mirror thing, which
I know. I thought, like, they were gonna go into another, like, into the mirror dimension.
Yeah, I thought Rachel, like, was gonna swap places basically with, like, the evil version of her, and because the opening certainly sets it up like it's basically like the Upside Down, from Stranger Things. Like, it's this weird mirror universe, and she, like, can travel through time and space. I guess not time, but space to like go around, and then Beast Boy looks in the mirror and sees himself all covered in blood because he's a killer now too, and I guess it was all set up for the mom being evil, but it felt so disjointed and so disconnected.
This episode, the way I described it in my notes was, it is horror blue balls.
Yes.
Where every shot is a ripoff of a horror shot, and it's all set up for this big, like, suspense jump scare moment that never comes.
No.
And so it's all this, like, you hear the Jaws music and it just never gets past the dun dun.
Yeah,
and
it's just that on
loop.
It
builds up a little bit, but it never finishes.
It didn't.
Then it just ends.
It just ends, and also now I'm super confused what the mom was doing in that asylum for the last, like, 6 years or whatever. Like, so if she's been in on this the whole time, why did she give up Rachel in the first place? Why were they holding her in that asylum? Well, they also wanted to bring on Triton. They wanted to Trigun. They wanted to unleash him. So why wasn't she just doing that?
It does answer my question from a few episodes ago: is how does she know how to get out? Because she's the one leading them to the exit of the asylum. And so I'm like, all right.
I just assume poor writing is the answer.
One question has been answered, and now 6 more have emerged.
Yeah, but is there? What's the twist there? What was her reason for being there that whole time?
I don't know. Like, there was another. They kind of focused on it a little bit, but on the wall of family photos, they kept focusing on a photo of twins.
Yeah, which they're setting.
And I'm like, is the mom the twin, or is Raven the twin?
Is Raven, like, because she has the 2 personalities, sort of? Is that supposed to be twins?
I don't know.
But see, that's again the problem with the show. It just does things.
Yeah,
and it's just lazy writing. Like, great example. So Beast Boy is having, like, he's simultaneously having a crisis of consciousness as he's also, like, sick, and they're kind of related, but they're kind of not. They're like same symptoms, 2 different sources, which is clunky. But also I love, he goes out to call Dick. He types the phone number into his phone, and then it just calls and pops up as Dick Grayson. So it's like, we had to show that he was calling someone, so he typed in a number, even though the number was already saved in his phone, rather than him just literally picking up the phone and clicking a button and then, like, ringing and like, hey, it's Dick. I'm not answering right now. Bye. But, like, stupid shit like that.
I think they could have. I really wish they would have handled the mom thing better.
Yes.
To the point of, like, how they could have explained it is they could have brought the mirror back in.
Okay.
The mirror is the portal.
Yeah.
And just being in the house is so evil and toxic that it's like tearing him out from the inside. Because I think what they were trying to go with is the mom just poisoned him.
Yeah, with her garbage soup.
Yes. And so instead of doing it that way, the mom explains, like, your power is enhanced in this room because this is where your father was.
Yeah.
It's out of control. You are poisoning. You are the reason Beast Boy is dying. So in order to counteract that, then they can, like, then you have a better argument of, like, no matter how far you go, your evil side has, has implanted itself in him.
Yeah.
The only cure, not a hospital for some reason from this poison, the only cure for him, and instead of being blood, it could be like the demon stuff coming out of him. The only cure is to bring your father back.
Because, like, even then, it's such an obvious and clunky twist. And she's like, oh, now we need to bring your father in. And everyone's like, I thought we weren't supposed to do that. But, okay.
Yeah, I guess the whole point of this, that dad is bad.
Yeah, it's like they realized the last minute, oh, we have to do this. And then, of course, when he does get there, it was like the most Smallville-esque thing ever. It's just some guy in a black trench coat.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, make him look like fucking Trigon. Like, really lean into it. They're bold in all the wrong ways.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, actually do something cool with that. But it was just so weird.
Or at least show us a glimpse of his true form.
Yeah.
Or, like, as he's being pulled out of the mirror, you do see kind of, like, the fiery red hand come out.
Yeah, and the eyes and the horns. And, like, we see that image heading towards the mirror. And then when it actually steps out as the person, you're like, oh, this is not what I was expecting.
And then it could still be not, like, 95% done transformation. So you do see him, like, get out with the 6 eyes.
Yeah.
And then kind of the horns sink in, and then he's, once he's entered, or once he's back on Earth, then he's, it's daddy.
Yeah. It's, like, that all was so dumb. And then they go, I guess Starfire's spaceship is hiding in a warehouse that's just, like, miles away from
we finally
the mom's house in Ohio.
We finally learned that Starfire is an alien.
We have finally got confirmation because that wasn't fucking obvious. And we go inside her ship. And then, so here's what also is throwing me. So we keep seeing what I think are flashbacks to when she's wearing, like, a black jumpsuit and her necklace. And then as they're driving back to the mom's house, she says she's looking through Donna's stuff, and she pulls out that same outfit basically and puts it back on. Why? Why didn't she just change in the spaceship? Also, how did she change out of, like, that dress into, like, a black jumpsuit in the back of a moving car?
I think she just put it on top of the dress.
That's not how clothing works.
You don't understand alien clothing, Chris.
You can't put skinned, but it's not alien clothing. It's Thanagarian. No, it's not even Thanagarian. That's alien. It's Themysciran.
Yeah,
it's probably just normal shit actually, because Donna's so far gone from that at this point. Mm-hmm. But you cannot put skin tight pants on over a dress, a big billowy dress.
I don't think you wear enough dresses, Chris.
No, not near enough. Still haven't done drag. It's on my list of things to do. It's okay, I have another nitpick. There's a lot of nitpicks here.
Is it that Beast Boy can still only fucking turn into a tiger?
Well, he didn't even turn into a tiger in this one.
Because I'm so angry.
It's not that.
So angry about that.
It's why has I'm not hungry become the shorthand for I have a problem going on? It's like, oh, you're upset about something? Yeah, I'm not hungry. I just don't want to eat. When is that ever a thing? When you're upset, do you not want to eat food, Cameron?
I always want to eat food.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless I'm hungover. Like today. Then I don't want to eat food. But if I'm, like, upset, goddamn right I'm going to eat food. I'm going to go eat some fucking junk food. I'm going to have a burger and a milkshake. Yeah, like a normal person does.
Stress eating.
Yeah. That's what people do when they're upset. They eat.
Yes, especially teenagers.
Yes.
It's almost like these people don't understand teenagers.
It's almost like they don't understand anything.
How dare they not understand the teenage mind?
It's just a dude. I'm looking through my notes here. It's a lot of questions. Like, why is this so dumb, basically? One of my notes is literally, who cares? Just, who fucking cares?
Here's one of my things. So the car dies.
Oh, yeah.
Donna can fly. Kori can fly. She doesn't know she can fly yet, but Starfire
we
can
don't know
fly.
if Donna can fly in this. She can leap.
She's very fast. They're both super strong. Fucking leave Dick and go ahead of him.
But the whole show has to hang on him.
I know it does.
Which is like, and then, oh my God. So it's all garbage. And then I was legitimately shocked when the credits rolled on this one. It's like, oh, that's where we're stopping? Like, this is the first time I was really upset with where they chose to end it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so dumb. Like, they get there, like, oh my God, the house has vanished. Dick runs through, but oh no, Donna and Starfire can't get in because, of course, the two people who actually have powers and could get shit done can't be part of this.
Yeah.
And then, should we jump forward and talk about the teaser for next week?
No, let's talk about what we think is going to happen before the teaser. Because before I saw the trailer, my thoughts were Hawk and Dove and Jason are all going to team up.
Are all going to that's true. Okay, yeah. Where I thought it was going was they're all going to show up at the house, and there's going to be a big confrontation. And like Trigon's going to be at his full power because Raven's there, and she's the only one who could defeat him. And like it was all going to be stuff we've kind of seen before, but just done in a slightly weird way. But at least would have had all the characters we like back.
Yes.
That's not what's going to happen, apparently.
Doesn't look like that's what's going to happen.
Because I always thought the teaser played at the end. It didn't for me.
Me either.
So I'd go look it up. Holy shit.
It's a completely different show. A much more interesting show.
Well, because basically what happens in the teaser, we see that Batman has gone full-on psycho and is murdering all the villains. It is a full-on villain himself. And now Dick Grayson's the only one who can take him down. And like they're raiding Wayne Manor, and he's like in a police van, not actually confronting Batman, but he's like on the comms, that sort of thing. And we see Trigon as a person, like saying like, oh, Commissioner Gordon's dead. And we see Starfire not looking like Starfire in there. So it's like, oh, okay. This is all clearly some weird nightmare sequence.
Some weird sex dream. Yes,
exactly. And so the whole finale of this show is going to hang on something that's not even goddamn real.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. Because best case scenario, it's only going to be a temporary dream sequence. But if that's the case, then why the fuck is that the thing you're advertising for your goddamn season finale?
Because I think the whole episode's going to be that dream sequence.
You think this is going to be more of like a mid-season finale? I think that's what they're kind of going for.
Like they're setting it up like he gets out of this dream sequence, whatever. Like he finally has confronted his issues with Bruce, and all of a sudden they're now still in this house with this demon, and then like break season 2.
I think he's going to confront. He's finally going to confront his demon, and then Trigon's going to kill him. I think they're going to.
Trigon's going to kill Dick?
Yes.
What?
Because he says at the very end, we need to break the boy. We need to break her.
Yeah.
And so I think the way he's going to do that is, she's going to have to watch Dick die.
And that's going to be... And then she's going to heal him? Oh, she's going to heal him. And then she's going to find her own inner strength.
Yep.
Oh, fucking
And then she's going to learn that I just want her to fucking realize that emotions are the thing that drive her, that control her power.
I know.
Because that's such a fucking good episode of Teen Titans.
I know.
Because it's always when she's distraught is when she can't control her inner self.
That's just...
And yeah, I think they're going to kill Dick, have that be the mid-season break. If this is treated like a mid-season, that's going to be the mid-season break, is Raven's going to lose control.
Yeah.
And the whole town, house, city is just going to be covered in darkness.
You know what?
And then it's going to end. And then that's when we're going to see whole city start to go black.
Yeah. And then cut to black.
And then we're going to see the car with Hawk and Dove and Jason in it.
Oh, hey.
They're going to get out and look up at the sky. It's like, something's going on with Rachel. Or they're going to get out and go, Rachel! And then we're going to cut to Donna and Starfire, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. They're like, what's going on with Rachel? And
I don't know.
And then we're going to, I don't know, we're going to see someone else. I don't know. It has to be in threes.
But the thing is, you're absolutely right. Because
it's going to come back to the dad. To Trigon. He's just going to be smiling, and then it's going to cut to black.
What you just described sounds like a bad version of the Netflix model, which is exactly what they've done with this show.
Mm-hmm.
They've basically taken all the things that the Marvel Netflix shows just didn't do great and done it worse.
Yes. It's going to cut to the 4 kids from Stranger Things being like, what's going on? And then it's going to cut to black.
I regret making us watch this. I finally have reached that point. Mm-hmm. I was the lone holdout on this. I was like, no, it's fine.
I've been the one for a while I've been liking it.
It's been fine. It's so bad.
At this point, I'm just excited. I'm excited for the last episode just because it's the last episode. And I can finally close the book on this.
I don't see
and
myself,
then open the book on Young Justice.
don't see myself come back for season 2 on this, unfortunately. Okay, any other thoughts, or should we mosey on
I
to
have one more quick
better
point.
things? Okay.
I really enjoy Beast Boy nerding out over the other sidekicks.
That is fun.
It's so adorable.
That actually is really really sweet. Yeah,
because he's kind of the only one that knows who everyone is.
yeah.
He's like, the lasso.
You're Wonder Girl. She's Wonder Girl.
She's Wonder Girl. Oh my gosh. Can I want to be like, can I play with the lasso?
Yeah.
He's like, make me tell the truth. Make me tell the truth.
Yeah, right. I mean, look how much more fun it would be if the show let itself be fun.
Yeah. Instead, we got to see him deal with murder.
Yeah, be confronted with the murder of some random dude and just vomit up a bunch of blood.
Yeah.
God damn it. All right. Well,
one more week, and then we're done with it,
more,
Chris.
I think. Thank God. I cannot wait to be over with this. We do have some notes from friends this week. Nothing to do with Titans.
Oh, good.
Thankfully. But we actually have a question from good old Paul Hill. And he was wondering, after we posted the episode last week, if we hate Max on Batman Beyond as much as the writers did. I guess she was a character forced on the creators by the network who wanted more equal female presence in the series. Do you hate Max? What's your feeling on Max as a character?
I did in that one episode. I was very harsh on her last week.
But I think it was not a good episode for her.
Right. And it's kind of... It's always kind of been the problem with not Lana, Lois.
Oh, Lois.
Sorry. Yeah. Where they kind of don't know how to, they don't really know how to handle women empowerment. They see it as more of women saying they can do it and then not doing it.
Yeah, it's like whenever they have a female character driving the plot, it often involves them being in distress or them being wrong. And it's not about them ever being right or empowered or in charge or their own legitimate driving force.
Here's an interesting twist they could have done on the episode of this week. Instead of Chelsea being sent off, Terry is sent off without being able to tell Bruce or his mom. It's just the school sends him there because he's trying to protect someone. He gets in a fight and then is sent to this brainwashing facility.
Yeah.
Then Max has to go to Bruce, and so she is not playing Batman, but she's trying to fill his role of we have to work together. I can get on the inside, but I need your kind of expertise to help me through it.
See, that would be much more interesting.
That would have been a great Max episode.
That puts her in the center of the plot. It also makes her have evolved from the last time where she tried to do it on her own. She realized, no, this really does have to work as a team.
Yes.
And I'm going to make that happen by being a team player. And I think that would be much more interesting. Yeah, because I do like her as a character.
Yeah.
I actually really do like her as a character. I think she does, from a purely expositional standpoint, she does serve a good role of kind of being a sounding board for Terry. Plus, I think she just has a fun personality. And I think Cree Summer does a lot to give her a lot of that personality too with her performance. But I think that she just often has bad episodes. Even when this episode started, I was like, where the fuck is Dana? Right? Why do we never spend any time with Dana? I thought Terry was on the phone with Dana. It's oh no, he's on the phone with Max.
Yeah, that didn't really make sense to me.
No, and I think it's an issue I think we see in the animated universe in general, kind of up until, frankly, JLU even. Because even Justice League, it's still very male heavy, just given the numbers.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like JLU, because they were kind of doing more...
Well, episode 1 is focused on Supergirl. Just right out of the bat. It's her episode. It's her.
Yeah.
It's her being, why am I not part of the team?
Yeah.
It's okay, fuck you, I'll make my own team.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it took them a while to figure out how to give more agency and voice to their female characters. And I think, again, I'm going to give them credit for trying, which I always think is important. Give them, if they're only 80% of the way towards the goal, give them the credit they need to be for having gotten to 80%, but also acknowledge there's 20% more to go.
Yeah.
So I think they're getting better, but they're just not quite there yet. But no, it's more succinctly answer your question, Paul. No, we do not hate Max. We like Max.
Yes.
We just hate what the writers do with her.
Yes.
So.
So quick tangent. There's a web series that I think I brought up a few times called Actually.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think I said our good friend Hector Navarro was on an episode recently. He won, of course, because
right on.
He gets paid to be a nerd.
Yeah.
But one of the questions, I don't remember if it was his episode or the episode before, was a Batman question.
Oh, really?
It was a DCAU question, or I guess statement. For people who don't know the show actually, it's a college humor web game show, which is so funny. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend binging it on YouTube. And if you want to see the full episodes, they have it on Dropout. #ad, #sponsored. But the question, or they basically read a false statement in Jeopardy style. You have to buzz in and correct them by saying, actually, and then say the correct statement.
Okay.
So the Batman question was, in the Justice League episode where, in this episode of Justice League, Wonder Woman is turned into a pig and must be saved by Batman, who has to, I think they said, who has to win a dance-off against Enchantress.
Okay.
And of course the answer would be
he has to sing.
Yes, he has to sing a song for Enchantress for her to turn Wonder Woman back. And I got very happy. I'm like, I know this one.
Yay. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's still one of the best episodes.
It's so good.
It's such a clever finale.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to get there.
If anyone needs just like a great dose of nerd content, is so fucking funny.
I don't know if I've ever actually seen any of it, which is the crazy thing. I get to watch it. And we had another comment from good old Ashley Clark. So I posted on Facebook an IO9 article that listed the best Lois Lanes.
Yeah.
And it actually included other characters that are like basically their own version of Lois Lane.
Yeah.
Yes, like Iris West from The Flash was on there, for example. And unsurprisingly, Dana Delaney's Lois Lane from Superman the Animated Series was #1, as she should be.
I'm gonna continue my statement from before and say that I don't know who I would have put as #1, but I just don't think they did enough with her for her to be #1.
I think they could have done more, absolutely. Actually, let me reopen the article.
Because I think Smallville was #2, right? I think she should have been #1.
So I have many things to say about that, in fact. Let me just double check here.
Or even Lana. I think
two,
Lana should have been Lana
Number
Lane.
2 was the Fleischer, the actress who voiced Fleischer. And number 3 was Margaret Kidder. Number 4 was someone who not actually Lois. Number 5 was Terry Hatcher. Number 6 was Erica Durance from Smallville.
That's so far down.
I agree. So I agree with you, and I agree with Ashley, who said, like, hard to disagree with the list overall. She loves Dana Delaney. Andrea Beaumont was a better character than the underutilized animated Lois. Absolutely true. She said, and Erica Durance is my Lois Lane. She's the closest to the original comics and the arguably most fleshed out Lois. To address the author's issues, the show has her be absent for events and dismissive of Clark to explain how she doesn't pick up on his secret. It's a bone to pick with all Lois Lane, to be honest, so I don't understand why they put her lower on the list for it. 100% agree. This is something you and I have talked about before. That show has the best Lois and Clark dynamic of anything ever.
Absolutely.
Ever. Like, that version of Lois is like ballsy and tenacious and funny and incredibly charismatic.
Yeah, and you kind of understand why she doesn't get the secret, is because she honestly just doesn't care.
Yeah,
like,
that's
she
part
has
of
so
it.
many other things that are on her mind.
Yeah.
That like trying to figure out who Superman is like doesn't even cross her mind.
Because there's a lot of points where she's always wrapped up in something else. Like she's not a character that I would think is wrapped up in herself.
Yeah,
she's just off always doing something. She's a very active character in that show. And I love Erica Durance. And for me, I think she's my favorite Lois. And I agree with both of you. She should have been higher up on the list. Like, Margaret Kidder is kind of the classic one. And I think I'll revisit those movies. It's been a while. But, I mean, I think she was a bit hamstrung by just the writing of the time. And she's good, but I don't think she's quite as good.
Okay.
As Erica.
We will agree to disagree on this one.
No, we agree.
We will agree to agree on this one.
Yeah, I was like, we agree.
Sorry, you threw out so many names without saying the franchise that they're connected to.
Okay, Margaret Kidder was the Richard Donner Superman movies.
Gotcha.
And then the other one was Dana Delaney, who's Superman the Animated Series.
Yes.
That's all I said.
Well, no, then you talked about Smallville.
Which is Erica Durant's.
Yes.
And you know that.
I didn't. I did not know.
How did you not know?
I don't know actresses. I don't know. I mean, I know a handful, but not nearly. You remember?
I'm pretty sure you said Erica Durant during this conversation.
I have not said her name once in my entire life. You
Guys,
remember
look
when
what
we
I'm
had
dealing with here.
when we
Just
tried
look.
to play Cineflix, and it was just you playing Cineflix after a while.
Wait, what's Cineflix?
That's the card game we played during the Super Bowl.
Oh, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't the Super Bowl. It was during the Oscars.
That's right. Yeah, during the
Yes,
Oscars.
during the Oscars a couple years ago. What's it's called Cineflix? Yeah, it's a cool game.
It's basically movie dominoes.
Yeah, or it's like 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, but yeah,
In a card
like
game,
visualized like dominoes. So you would have like a movie or a director, and you would have to put a card next to them of someone they'd worked with or a project they'd worked on.
So if I put down if I put down Tarantino, you could put down Pulp Fiction, and then I could put down Sam Jackson.
Exactly. Yeah, you could go off and on and on. And this is true. You have very deep insights into animation and many things. I think a lot of animation creators too. But I will acknowledge that I have a pretty thorough knowledge of actors and directors
and
projects
producers and
exactly. Yeah. I'm going to
musicians and
shamelessly refer to myself as the walking IMDb, which I have been called before in the
that's
past.
fine. I am usually referred to as the Disney Encyclopedia at work.
I think that's absolutely true, and I think that's very fair, very, very fair. But yes, no, we're all in agreement. You, me, Ashley, that Erica Durant's best Lois Lane. Smallville.
Yes, I agree.
Quickly he forgets.
Yep.
Yes, had the best one. God damn it. Okay. Let's just move on to
Any more
plot.
notes?
Nope.
All right.
Nope. But
what have you been watching, listening, reading?
Someone please write in and just break Cameron for me. I've done it.
Fine.
I've done it too much at this point. What do I have? I've got a couple things. So we both just saw Spider-Verse, as mentioned at the top of the episode.
Yes.
We literally got out of the movie and came straight here.
I didn't think anything was gonna. This was such a good, mostly such a good year for. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Incredibles 2 was the other Disney movie from this year.
Ooh.
You asked me.
I think this is better.
I think so too.
I quite like The Incredibles 2. I did see it twice.
Same.
I had a lot of fun with it.
saw it 3 times.
I know.
I
think it's better because it's more ambitious.
Yes.
And not to undercut how good Incredibles 2 is. I think it's fair to say that's basically the best sequel we possibly could have gotten off Incredibles 1. And I think that movie comes very close to being on par with its predecessor. But there has never been a movie like Spider-Verse before.
Right.
Ever.
It's like the heart of Incredibles with the humor of Teen Titans go to the movies.
Yeah. It does a really impressive job balancing a lot of different tones really thoroughly. And it hits the emotional beats really well. It hits the humor really well. And it is jaw-droppingly gorgeous.
Yes.
Which I think everyone expected based off the trailers. But, I mean...
Because when it got to the scene, the iconic scene from the trailers when he jumps off the building and he's, like, upside down with the city, like, when you see it in film... It's like, oh, my God. It's literally jaw-dropping. You're just like, God, that's...
And we went and saw it in IMAX, like, proper IMAX. And if you can, see it that way. Don't see it in 3D.
I've heard 3D is actually really good.
That might be the case. I hate 3D.
Yes.
And I refuse to support it. And it gives me headaches. But, like, if you have to see it, I guess, in 3D to see it in IMAX, I suppose it's worth it. But see it in IMAX. Because the cool thing about seeing it on such a massive screen is that you can really see the detail of how the drawing is done and how it's got a lot of layers on it and lots of shading. And what's with all the dots?
The Ben-Day dots.
The Ben-Day dots. Yeah, that old comic style where, like, things are kind of comprised of dots and stuff. And, like...
Inspired by pointillism.
Exactly. Yeah, it's amazing. Highly, highly recommend it. I mean, we'll be doing our end of the year wrap up soon, but it's pretty high up for me. It's gonna be pretty high up for me.
Yes.
So.
Have you been watching or reading anything else?
Yeah, I have another plug. This is a movie I saw a little while ago, but it just hit Netflix and theaters, and it is Roma.
Ooh.
So for those of you who don't know what this movie is, it is Alfonso Cuarón's latest film.
Oh, and I don't like him.
How do you not like Alfonso Cuarón?
Wait, sorry. Getting confused with a very different director. I am so sorry.
Who were you confusing him with?
The guy who did Love?
Gaspar Noé?
Yes.
The
porn
real
director.
sex film?
Yep.
Did you have to work on that movie?
I did have to work. I told you I worked on that movie.
We've talked about this.
Because I made the masturbation app.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
We have to talk about. Yes.
I should probably clarify what that is. It was not a masturbation app. It was an app where you would send messages to. It was a messaging app, but in order to read the messages, you had to shake your phone in the silhouette of
the jerk off motion.
Yes.
Yes.
And then the message would literally come on the screen.
That's fantastic.
That was something I got paid to work on.
Yes. Gaspar Noé and Alfonso Cuarón are very different filmmakers.
Very different. I'm so sorry. Yes.
No, Alfonso is known for Y Tu Mama Tambien. I probably pronounced that wrong, but that was like one of his first movies. He did a version of Great Expectations I've ever seen. He did Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
That's right.
He did Children of Men. Mm-hmm. He did Gravity.
Yes.
And now he's done this. And, you listen to that list of films, and all of those movies have this sense of scale to them. Like, they're these massive productions that are tackling huge subjects. This is different in the sense it's a very kind of much smaller personal film. So it's also, I guess, like, full disclosure, I work for the company that made it, so I'm a little bit biased in this. But
you have not said hashtag ad or hashtag sponsored yet.
Fine, hashtag ad, hashtag sponsored, hashtag nepotism, hashtag whatever you want to throw on there.
We have to let the people know.
Hashtag bias.
Yes, we have a bias.
We produced this movie, and so I got to see it at a company screening a couple months ago, and it's a story from his own life. So basically, it's about his childhood more or less, but it's really about his nanny when he was a kid and kind of the role she played in his life. So the movie's about her. So one, it's pioneering in the sense that it's a film about a domestic worker, which is something that's like just not very like covered in general in film. It's black and white. It's foreign language. It's not a heavily plotted film, so it's not one you can kind of sit and watch casually. To be fair, but it is a masterpiece. Like, it is legitimately an incredibly well-made movie, and this is my genuine opinion. I'm not reading off of a card that was handed to me by my boss.
I'll take that back.
There you go. Thank you. Yes,
handed to you by me.
Be sure we burn that so no one can see that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it is really spectacular. It is on Netflix. If you can, I do kind of like Spider-Verse. I highly recommend you see it in a theater. It's definitely how it was designed. Actually, the sound design of this movie is incredible. If you've seen the teaser trailer, it's just a black and white shot of a bunch of water flowing back and forth across a floor. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. When I saw that trailer, I'm like, oh my God, this is so fucking pretentious.
That sounds so artsy.
It's the trailer makes it look very, very artsy. And it is kind of artsy in a lot of ways, but
I mean, it's black and white and foreign.
Yes, but foreign language. But then when I watched it, I have to admit, I was completely mesmerized by that sequence. As it's happening on screen. And if you're seeing it with proper audio, you can hear like the water surrounding you as it's flowing back and forth. And it's really, really incredible. And it's a movie that, despite the kind of like the very specific small scale nature of the story it's telling, visually and from a production perspective, it's done this massive scale. So you think about, you've seen Children of Men?
No.
Okay, it's an incredible movie, and there's a couple like really long, crazy tracking shots, like very heavily choreographed tracking shots. Cuarón does some similar stuff here too, where you're just watching the movie and you're like, oh my God, like how did they do this? And like you like, this is unbelievable that they found a way to do it. So it's really, really good. It's definitely a movie that's going to be in the conversation, already has been. It's going to be a contender for Oscars, hands down. It's really good. Highly recommend it, guys.
All right.
Go see it.
I will.
Yeah.
Stop telling me.
Go see it, Cameron.
Go. Jesus,
go.
Get off my fucking back.
No, I don't want to hear what you've been plugging. Go see it now.
All right.
It's playing in select theaters.
Sorry. Kind of get under the...
I know it's challenging to escape.
Yeah.
You know, it's too hard to escape. Go ahead and do your shit and then go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously I also saw Spider-Man.
Yes.
I saw it twice over the weekend. It's phenomenal. It's a visual masterpiece. I can't praise it enough.
Yeah, it's really good.
But I've also been watching, I'm like a week late to the party, which is very horrible for me. But I just started season 2 of Miss Maisel.
Oh, nice.
And it's so fucking good. It's so fun. It's so like such a nice change of pace. The writing is so like witty and quick. They kind of focus a lot more on the family And so like the dad has a big story arc.
It's Tony Shalhoub, right? Is the dad? Why am I asking you this?
Great
Jesus
question.
Christ.
I couldn't tell you a single actor from the show. But Joel has like the ex-husband has like a really redeeming story in this arc in this season. Zachary Levi is in this season.
Ooh.
Yes, and I love me some Levi. It's
jeans mostly.
Usually just jeans. But it's just so nice.
Mm-hmm. I forget are they half hour, 30-minute, 45-minute? How long?
45 minutes.
45 minutes. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I just started the season finale before we watched Spider-Man.
Okay.
So I have to go and finish it.
Yes, of course you do.
Mm-hmm. But I won't plug this last one. I'm going to talk about it, but it's not a plug.
Okay.
I didn't realize Netflix surprised us with a new Sabrina episode, a Sabrina Christmas episode.
Christmas special. Yeah, have you watched it?
I've not watched it yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm very excited to, though.
Go watch it then.
Yeah. I will report back next week.
Yeah, I still haven't watched any of Sabrina.
That's all right. I've come to the conclusion that it's not for everyone.
And
for a lot of people.
I bet I would like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not quite enough to actually get me to sit down and watch it.
It's long.
It's long. What is it, 13? 8 episodes?
I think it's 12 or 13, yeah.
But
it's full hour. It's not 42-minute hour, it's full hour.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's
so
absolutely
tough. And it's been so long since I've seen a show that's like that, where like my body's trained for 42 minutes.
Yeah.
So like when it got to that point, almost every episode I would move the mouse to see how much time was left. And it's like, fuck, I still got 15 minutes left.
I mean, that's kind of been the problem with a lot of Netflix stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was the problem with like all of their Marvel stuff too. Is like they were long episodes and long seasons, and it's just like it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a lot. I know I'm super excited for the last season of Lemony Snicket. So
that starts January 1st.
Yeah, I kind of want to go back and revisit because it is a very intricate show and there's a lot of setup. I'll probably just have to like do like a read.
I bet they'll do
because I don't have time.
They usually do a recap.
That's true, they do. Yeah,
and those are really good because it's usually when they did the season 1 recap, it was Patrick Warburton just being like, everything sucks and here's why.
Yeah, so I'm
Patrick Warburton.
Yeah,
here's my voice.
I'm very excited to get back to that show. I've liked it a lot. Plus, I also like when things are succinct. And it's like, this is the last season.
Yeah.
And then we got to enjoy all of it in its entirety. And it was hopefully all going to be really good.
Yes, I'm sure it will be.
Yeah, so pre-plug right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I think we're good.
I think that's everything.
We're good?
We did it.
We're grand. We're great. If you want to reach out to the show, we are at Timm Talk Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Gmail. I would love to know, for listeners, who is your favorite Lois Lane?
Yes.
I'd be very curious to see how the fandom breaks down on that whole thing. So write to us and let us know. And then I am at Lordifer on Instagram and Twitter.
Perfect. If you want to see my art, which will be updated very soon.
He says every week.
They say every week.
It's like you're doing the Jimmy Kimmel bit about finally getting Matt Damon on the show.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Your artwork is your Matt Damon.
It is. I hate it that much. You can find my art at Cameron.Dexter, and if you want to see my face and my adventures, you can find that at CamDexter_adventures. And by adventures, I usually just mean me at Disney.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But not now. Blackout season.
I still have a week.
You do?
I do.
Oh.
My blackout starts the 21st.
Oh, okay. Well, mine's already blacked out.
Ha-ha.
Which sucks. I finally have time off during the week and I can't
Loser.
I can't
go into a Universal, you poor person.
Also, even worse, I was trying to find a Christmas present for a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Not you, by the way.
I didn't expect one.
And on Saturday, whilst extraordinarily hungover, I drove down to Disneyland. I was trying to find a very specific piece of art at that Wonderground art store.
It's such a great store.
I got down there, and like in general, their inventory is a lot lower than normal because of the holidays probably, but they didn't have it, and it's not available online. And I then had to turn around and get back in my car and drive all the way back to LA, which is like over an hour.
Yep.
Very hungover, mind you.
Yes.
So and I couldn't go into the park because I was already in blackout zone. So I'm
so sorry.
Spent like 3 hours for nothing.
You could have just messaged me being like, this is the artist. Do you know anything? Because I have hookups. I have art friends that know people.
Let's talk offline.
Yes. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Bye. Bye.